Meet Jack, a 28-year-old marketing executive for a multinational corporation. Every weekday morning, Jack's alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. He lives about 20 miles from his office, and his daily commute takes about an hour. He has to drive to work, and his route takes him through some of the busiest highways, which means he frequently gets stuck in traffic. Jack's typical workday starts at 9 a.m. when he arrives at his office. He checks his emails, responds to any urgent messages, and reviews his to-do list for the day. He spends most of the day sitting at his desk. At 5 p.m, Jack packs up his belongings and heads home. He usually spends his commute thinking about how unhappy he is with his job and how he feels stuck. He's been meaning to look for a new job, but feels too demotivated to do so. Once home, Jack doesn't have many hobbies or interests. He spends most of his free time watching TV. He's not close with his family and doesn't have many friends, so he doesn't socialize much outside of work. He finds it hard to sleep at night, thinking about how unfulfilled he is in his job and how he feels like he's not living up to his potential. The cycle repeats itself the next day and the day after that, making him more miserable and unhappy with his life. Take the example of Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla. He became a multi-millionaire at 27 years old and now has a net worth of $184.7 billion US. Do those who succeed work harder than those who only dream of success? Are they smarter, luckier, or more ruthless? And does financial success bring happiness? These questions are perhaps more timely than ever. The Instant Millionaire answers in the unforgettable voice of a very wise and wealthy old man. This sage, known as the Instant Millionaire, mentors a young man with frustrated dreams and 9-to-5 disappointments. A young man in his early 30s, struggling to make ends meet while working as an assistant accountant in a small marketing agency, wonders if he'll ever achieve financial freedom. This young man aspired to be wealthy and successful, but had no idea how to get there. As told to us by the author of this book, Mark Fisher, titled The Instant Millionaire. His job has been a daily nightmare for over a year, and he is surrounded by colleagues who are fed up with what they are doing. He's walked into his boss's office 1,000 times with a letter of resignation that he wrote 6 months earlier, but he's never been able to go through with it. One day, when he was feeling frustrated, he decided to go visit his uncle, who had become a millionaire. Perhaps he might be able to give him some advice, or better yet, lend him some money. The uncle agreed to meet him, but refused to lend him money, claiming he wouldn't be doing him any favors by doing so. Do you know that when I was your age, I already had an estimated $500,000, he asked the young man. How come you're forced to borrow money at your age, he asked the young man. I work like a dog, sometimes more than 50 hours a week, said the young man. His uncle went on. Some of the most common excuses people give for failing to achieve their financial goals are: 1. There is not enough time. If one person earns $500 for 40 hours of work, does that mean someone earning $500,000 is working 400 hours per week? Everyone has the same 168 hours per week. They alone hold the key to the value put on their own efforts. No one can set the value of your time without your permission. If you want to earn more, simply put a higher value on your work. 2. No money. Since ancient times, the rich have been amassing fortunes using other people's money. Anyone really serious about making money has never failed to somehow find the money to get started. 3. Waiting for the perfect conditions. External circumstances, whether emotional, social, or professional, are a mirror image of your thoughts. Everything in life is basically a matter of attitude. Only those with uninformed minds will accept the common belief that external factors play any part in your life's events. 4. It sounds too easy to be true. True genius resides in simplicity. The non-achievers like complexity because it gives them an excuse to fail. It shifts the blame away from where it really lies. Successful people attract wealth to themselves almost miraculously. 5. What about caution? If you want to make sure you succeed in life, make sure you have no choice in the matter. You have to put your back to the wall. When you cut off all your exits, You mobilize your inner powers. At that point, when you want something to happen with every fiber of your being, you will be unleashing tremendous inner powers of creativity. Caution may help you avoid mistakes, but it can also cause you to miss out on some good opportunities. Then the uncle decided to help him out by sending him to the man who helped him get rich. He calls himself the Instant Millionaire, said the uncle. He chose that name because he became a millionaire overnight and can help anyone become a millionaire overnight or acquire the mentality of a millionaire. His uncle handed the young man an envelope to give to the Instant Millionaire. The young man arrived at the house of the Instant Millionaire. He met the gardener, who asked for $10, the only money he had left to return home. He hesitated before giving as the gardener insisted, but he had no idea that the gardener was actually the Instant Millionaire, who was teaching him his first lesson. Do not be afraid of asking. You see, most people are afraid of asking for things, and when they do, they don't insist enough. That's a mistake. At that moment, the butler arrived and respectfully asked the gardener, "Sir, may I please have $10? The cook lady insisted on payment, and I was only $10 short." The gardener pulled a large roll of bills from his baggy pocket and handed the butler the $10 he had just borrowed. The young man was shocked, and the gardener responded that he always keeps $25,000 in cash for emergencies. The young man exclaimed, "$25,000? He realized he was talking to the Instant Millionaire at that point. "You see, becoming rich is easy," said the Instant Millionaire. "Many people go through life feeling unfulfilled and limited by their circumstances. But what if I told you that there is a way to break free from the cycle of debt and scarcity and create a life of abundance and wealth? The most mysterious wealth-building secret is to write down how much money you want and how much time you give yourself to make it. All millionaires agree that they became wealthy when they set a deadline for acquiring a specific amount. You'll never get anywhere if you don't know where you're going. Most people are unaware that we get exactly what we expect from life. If our goal is vague, whatever you get will be similarly uncertain. If you ask for a bare minimum, you will receive the bare minimum. All objectives must be stated precisely and within a specific time frame. The amount of money you set as a goal to earn represents nearly to the cent your own self-image and self-worth. If you want to make more money, you must change the way your self-image is formed and projected. Our thoughts cause everything that happens to us. Life is exactly as we imagine it. Those who have achieved significant success in life, regardless of their field, have always ignored the objections raised by rational thinkers and intellectuals.
It was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later.
Whatever anyone else says, what matters is what your thoughts lead to. Others can only influence your thoughts to the extent that you allow them to. Reasoning and logic are necessary for success, but they are only tools and faithful servants. They can become obstacles to great achievements created by those who believe in the power of the mind. All achievers began with a firm belief that they would become successful. They can then use their inner creative abilities. You will earn more easily if you expand your self-image. The most significant limitation that man can impose on himself, and thus the most significant impediment to his success, is mental. You can expand your life by expanding your mental limits. When you explode your limitations, you also explode the limitations on your life. The goals you set help you translate your self-image into concrete terms. Whether you are aware of it or not, life will bend to the limits you set for yourself. You must start with a goal that is both ambitious and achievable. Conclusion: the more powerful my mind becomes, the bigger my dreams will become. Don't dwell in the past. Instead, live in the here and now. Concentrate on what you're doing. Stay in the moment. Learn to focus. Pay attention to details in everything. Don't get distracted. Don't get too worked up. Concentration will help you understand why you are here now. You'll see clearly and accept your starting position. The problems are only problems because I make them so. Concentrate. The problems have no hold on me. They do not exist. They are only circumstances and opportunities. To get started today, write down the following on a piece of paper. In 6 years from today, I will be a millionaire. Sign it and date it with today's date. Now, put this piece of paper somewhere where you will see it frequently. Take action now, even in imperfect conditions. Don't wait for everything to be perfect, or you'll never start and miss a lot of opportunities. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more.